just realized I was doing this out of order. I meant to do Boo Boo and Moochie first. But since Zippy and Zinger would last, I'm going to do Zelda next. Again, and when you go to look for like a new cat, regardless of age, I guess, you kind of go to all the well, you used to go to the neighbor, the newspaper ad, I guess. Free sign, free kitten sign. There were a bunch of places. Now you go to the warehouse. You go to, I call it the pet warehouse, the superstore, pet superstore. They have cubicles there, and they are linked to area adoption agencies. You pay a fee. That covers the spay neuter. So there are different methods. There's Craigslist, there's newspaper ads, and sometimes, when you're in the search for a cat and, 3 people have males available and they're all taking applications at once. Sometimes you put in an application everywhere just in case, one doesn't get back to you. So I guess in 2016, that's the best way of describing, what was going on at that point. Part of my population was, aging. Raoul was getting on in years. Rocky had passed. We just had a lot of different changes, like in the social dynamic of the group. I was looking for younger males. I was looking to fill a few different places because the older population was passing. So, as the middle-aged part of the group aged, I wanted them to have older companionship as well. So I was considering an ad, Boo Boo and Moochie, which I'll get to in the next video. And I was also experiencing like a younger generation of females that, has, I guess, like social interests in another age group of males, and we didn't have that, that age group of males, so I was inquiring about Zippy and Zinger. And I had also inquired about Gary and Puka in the newspaper that year. So Zippy and Zinger had come home. Gary and Puka were already home. And Boo Boo and Moochie were already at home at the point when Zelda, Zippy and Zinger's mother, I had visited with a few times with them in the store, Petco in Salem, New Hampshire. And Zippy and Zinger's paperwork, they were really like, male kittens, young kittens in particular, cost top dollar. So I was pretty much wiped out for that month. And I told them that I wanted to also adopt their mother, Zelda. I was thinking kind of long term for this group. I wanted, we had a lot of younger personalities. Some of the caretakers, the older caretaker personalities had passed in the group, like Rocky. And I kind of wanted, like, I wanted younger companionship for the younger generation, but I also wanted, like, an older generation that could be maybe a mentor and teach the younger ones more about, like, the care of kittens, mothering, and, things like that. A more mellow personality type, so that it wasn't just a bunch of unruly young cats, It was also, like, a good balance, between older and younger. It was kind of important to me. So I inquired not only about Zippy and Zinger and paying their adoption fee, covering their spay neuter, but I also wanted to make sure that their mother, Zelda, wasn't, going to end up in some kitten mill either. And since I had both boys, and she seemed very attached to these boys, she seemed like a very, good mother and very attentive. She wasn't too crazy about me, and I guess I was okay with that. I'm not really picky about my cats being overly affectionate, so it didn't bother me. I only visited with her a couple times. So I kind of get a feel for her temperament. She's, like a mother, a hands-off kind of mom, and I was like, okay, that's cool. And I said, I'm all for it, I want my girls, my boys to learn from a pro, I guess. And the spay-neuter kept her out of the, mass production of, kittens for, you know what I mean? So, about a month into it, Raoul passes in between the time I adopt Zippy and Zinger and the time I get Zelda home. So, and I go to the store. I don't visit with Zelda again. They tell me at the store that that Zelda needs like a few weeks to quote unquote recover from her spay, right? And that they need a few weeks to do Zelda spay. Okay. Now Zelda has also like markings. The Zippy and Zinger and Zelda are like very common colors at this point in the pet adoption circuit. I guess they're fairly frequently occurring colors too. So I guess there's a lot of like lookalikes available. And I remember when I visited with Zelda making note of, just certain things about her. She had like a certain collar. I kind of said, oh, wow, it kind of looks like a nun, like it looked like a collar, a nun's collar around her. And I just made it, notes about her temperament and things like that, mental notes. And when I came to get her, we had a time set up. And, basically they kind of whisked my carrier out of my hand. I paid the fee. They put her in it. And I get in the car, I don't have time, they're kind of like talkative. And I pay the fee, thank you. I get in the car, I get home. It's not their mother, Zelda. And I mean, I have told Zippy and Zinger, Zelda's coming home today, so they're thinking one cat's coming home. It's not the same Zelda. Not only is it not the same Zelda, but I look all over her belly. There's no sign of a shave mark. It's only been like 3 weeks, And I know, like, when you shave a cat, it takes a lot more than 3 weeks for it to grow back. So I know that whatever fee I paid did not pay for that cat that they gave me that day, claiming was Zippy and Zinger's mother, Zelda. They did. I did not pay that spay-neuter fee. So, I always felt like there was a bait and switch with Zelda. Zelda's a great cat, but if you could see the temperament difference, Zippy and Zinger show between one Zelda, their mother, they're kind of standoffish. The other Zelda, they're kind of in her face. So I think they swapped like a sibling generation that had already been spayed, or another aunt, or a similar color, certainly. But they definitely did not give me the Zelda that I thought I was getting. Oh, there we go. There I am. Sorry, the sun's setting. And I mean, I love the cat that I got. Don't get me wrong. I do not fault the animal for when these things happen, but because people get weird. In a way, I wish it was back to the way it used to be, just very straightforward, free kitten ad in the paper, take it home. No one has to play games for insurance and all these other things and match paperwork and not match paperwork. But, I mean, I know how long it takes a cat that's been shaved for hair to grow back, and there's no way they shaved that cat in that time frame. I know I paid an adoption fee that probably supported a spay or neuter, but I don't think it was the cat that I took home. I don't think it was their spay and neuter. And just the bill of goods that you're sold when you go there, and, what you end up with when you get home, that's all things aside. I mean, I'm going to love the animal I get when I get home, and I'm going to make the best. But it was really a disappointment for Zippy and Zinger. I think they did expect more of a parental figure, and I certainly did in my group. And they ended up with more of a sibling figure, you know. She had a little bit of a pica issue, too. Like, she would constantly licking, and you know, like, very, very needy. And, you know, we really struggled with that. But when I noticed when Madeline had the kitten, she was very, very attentive. So I do think that this cat had kittens taken away. But I don't know, I neither saw the signs of like larger nipples from breastfeeding, from recent breastfeeding, like the other Zelda. And I didn't see any signs of shaving or C-section or anything like that, or, you know, signs of a spay neuter. There's no scar, you know, no recent shave. So it was a big disappointment for Zippy and Singer, and I think the jury's still out on where is the right Zelda. I know I have a Zelda, and I kept her name that way, you know, because it would have just been too confusing with everything. You know, God love her, she was one of the best step-parents for Madeline's stepchildren, you know, Madeline's children. And she was just right there with her, you know, helping her and coaching her, but not exactly the generation that I thought, not exactly the temperament that I thought either. You know, it was a much different social picture by the time I got Zelda home than when I started. And, you know, I mean, I try to be as upfront as possible about my home and, you know, the spaces I have available. And, you know, I don't know, they kind of, when they market them, oh, tell us the kind of cat you're looking for. And you tell them, but, you know, a lot of times they're looking through their pile saying, what can we... I think sometimes they take the opportunity to get rid of things, too. And it's not always, you know, it's not always me planning to adopt 4 that year, or sometimes it is like they all called me back at once, and I gave them all a chance, and this was supposed to be temporary and ended up permanent, and this was supposed to be parent-child and ended up not even related. So it's not always, you know, it's not always what you think.